What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast and Review. So good to have you back. Real quick, I have a video today. It is not like my normal video, so I hope you guys like it. I made a compilation of some clips, popular culture, the news. You'll see. Might be a little bit of a heavy video. I did kind of put it together to send a message to you guys of preparedness. So I hope you like it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and be sure to like and subscribe. Share this out if you think it's worth it. Brofist.
There is a storm coming like nothing you have ever seen, and not a one of you is prepared for it.
Thank you, coronavirus vaccine, for being a scientific marvel that will save humanity. Or, as millions of Americans put it, that's all good, but when does a gummy version come out?
So look, I promise this is not a Batman review or anything like that, okay? I added this section in because the Joker's actually really about to drop some truth about human nature and what happens when people suffer or starve. I also wanted to showcase how these two both represent the two pillars of duality, both light and dark. It's pretty interesting. Also, believe it or not, there's a lot of predictive programming in Hollywood and the mainstream media that we dismiss because, you know, that's what they wanted. They wanted to put it out there so that they could turn it around and, oh, you've been watching too many TV shows and movies. You've been listening to too much radio, all that.
Winter, flu viruses and COVID-19 may both spread. It's more important than ever to reduce the risk of flu for yourself, your family, and your community. And getting a flu shot is one way to do that. The flu shot is safe for all ages and all health conditions and is free to all Indigenous people because we tend to have higher health risks than others.
The National Science Foundation is coordinating with the CDC and other agencies. They indicate that the first group of people that should get the vaccine, if and when it is available, are people at the greatest risk. And that includes everything from nursing homes to people with serious pre-existing conditions that would cause people to be in real trouble. A lot of those people happen to be black and brown. No! Happen to be black and brown.
Hell no.
And so it would be based upon the degree of exposure. It would go first, though, I would argue, but I have a scientific board laid out for me. It would go first, as laid out for me today, to first responders, doctors, and nurses, the people who we're most needed to have available to deal with our crises, health as well as physical crises in our communities.
We trusted the scientists back in 1976 with the original swine flu shot, and a lot of people got sick. Right. Not only that, some people died, some people were paralyzed. From the shot itself. And people remember the swine flu vaccine as a terrible disaster.
But this is one time. Forget the conspiracy. Listen to our government agencies. These guys are telling the truth. You know, there's no conspiracy here, folks. Just get your damn vaccine.
Case levels are high, but a lot of the case levels are high because of the fact that we have the best testing program anywhere in the world. We've developed the most and the best tests, and we test far more than any other country, so it shows, obviously, more cases. By vaccinating the elderly and the high risk, we will effectively end this phase of the pandemic and allow seniors to reclaim their golden years, the golden years of their lives, which is so incredible. And it's about time that they can have those golden years. Again, this process is starting right away. Millions of doses will soon be going out the door. They're all ready, waiting for that final approval. As soon as April, the vaccine will be available to the entire general population, with the exception of places like New York State, where, for political reasons, the governor decided to say, and you know, I don't think it's good politically. I think it's very bad from a health standpoint. But he wants to take his time on the vaccine. He doesn't trust where the vaccine's coming from. These are coming from the greatest companies anywhere in the world, greatest labs in the world. But he doesn't trust the fact that it's this White House, this administration. So We won't be delivering it to New York until we have authorization to do so, and that pains me to say that. This is a very successful, amazing vaccine at 90% and more.
Just get your damn vaccine. Just get your damn vaccine.
That's a trade-off society is making because of very, very high medical costs and a lack of willingness to say, is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion. So of course,
that's an interesting thing you just said, which is just the last 3 months in life for one person or something, because we haven't had a discussion of how to allocate that money. It means we lay off 3 teachers to do so. I mean, in other words, we haven't had this type of allocation.
We're making that trade-off because of huge medical costs that are not examined to see which ones actually have no benefit whatsoever. And because of pension generosity, we will be laying off over 100,000 teachers, which, I'm very much against that.
The economy is not going to be anything like it was. It's going to take a long time to recover. It's going to be, people are going to be surprised at how slow and how fitful this is.
Fire, war, earthquakes. And so government, Dr. Fauci's doing a very good job of saying the numbers are what count here. If we have, 1 in 10,000 side effects, that's, way more, 700,000, people who will suffer from that. Hopefully this will renew our sense that we're kind of in this together, in our communities and our country. And, we're all in this together. We've got to get rid of coronavirus from the entire world. That's a global problem. And, so I'm glad, that people are coming together. It won't go to zero, but it will shrink. Global GDP is going to take, probably the biggest hit ever, and how hard it's going to be to get back to the normal life that we had before. For the world at large, normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
We see the light at the end of the tunnel.
The good news, Canada has already secured 20 million doses of Pfizer's vaccine, thanks to a strategy Ottawa has been pursuing, not so quietly, for months.
When a vaccine is ready, Canada will be too.
The Government of Canada has entered into agreements with Pfizer and Moderna.
At least 88 million doses, with options to attain tens of millions more.
In all, Canada has snapped up more than 300 million doses from 7 different companies, all for different vaccines, trying to cover all its bases.
Indeed, Canada is one of the countries around the world with the very best portfolio of potential vaccines, because we know that there is a certain amount of uncertainty as to which vaccines will land.
Uncertainty, too, on how to distribute a vaccine when it's ready. Pfizer's vaccine requires 2 doses and needs to be kept very cold at minus 75 degrees. Cities like Toronto are already trying to find enough space to vaccinate the general public.
We are doing this work now so that we will be ready for what we know will be a massive effort.
Plans are already drafted for who would get vaccinated first, those most at risk, in long-term care homes, on the front lines, and in Indigenous communities.
Rollout is going to be the most difficult part of this vaccine. For us as a general population to get a vaccine in the arm, yes, we might be looking at 6 months to a year.
And the government is still pursuing its strategy of buying vaccine options. It's in the final stages of talks for more doses from Pfizer in the hopes of covering more Canadians. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
When we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
The nail on the head. This is going to be a public relations, trust your government and your health officials public campaign. Mark my words, you and I are going to be talking about this a lot between now and fall.
Me, look on the CDC website as to what is in the swine flu vaccine. aluminum, insect repellent, formaldehyde, mercury.
Very significantly in the manufacturing of this vaccine in such a way as to when we have the clinical efficacy demonstration with these vaccines, we would also have vaccine doses to be able to immunize the US population. So the two vaccines that are completing their phase 3 trial are likely to be filing their files with the FDA for a potential emergency use authorization within the next few weeks. And hopefully, if approved, they could be used for immunization in the US population in the month of December. And we plan to have enough vaccine doses available for use in the US population to immunize about 20 million individuals in the month of December, and another 25 to 30 million per month on an ongoing basis from there on. And as of the month of February or March, if we have more vaccines approved, such as the live vectored vaccine, we may be able to immunize a larger number of Americans on an ongoing basis per month. Operation Warp Speed didn't only focus on vaccines. We also looked at therapeutics, and we have worked with a number of companies developing monoclonal antibodies, in particular, that are able to neutralize the virus.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer. You are a plague.
When we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
Aluminum, insect repellent, formaldehyde, mercury.
Co-leader with me of the operation, General Perna.
Mr. Secretary, and of course, Dr. Salawi, my co-leader, thank you for this opportunity to talk about and focus a little bit on distribution. So first, I just will say it is a large task, but it's a task that we are up for. And we're going to take a whole of America approach. That's why we're going to be able to do this. And we've been working on this now for over 6 months. Since the announcement 6 months ago on May 15th, we literally started planning accordingly. And it is the foundation of our planning started with the great experts at the CDC, and it's been extended to the jurisdiction planners so that we have a great collaborative plan on how to execute this together, right? And as the Secretary talked about earlier, we have implemented several mechanisms to allow other organizations inside of America to enable execution. Not one source or one organization will be responsible, but it's the collective group of us that will make it.
All right, guys, I know that got a little heavy, but I hope that you kind of got the point that we were going for. Real quick, I just wanted to give some words of encouragement so that you guys wouldn't be too stressed out. I know that this can be kind of heavy. Just thought we'd start here in Deuteronomy. It is the Lord who goes before us. He will be with us. He will not leave us or forsake us. Do not fear or be dismayed. And those are some strong words, guys. We can't ever forget that He is with us, and through faithfulness we will be blessed. So just stay strong, stay faithful, guys. And I just thought we would leave off with this one. It's a great one. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And I think that's really important to remember as well, and just to remember to stay calm and, be centered and know that He is God, and be still for a few minutes and let the world fade away. Meditation's really important in these times, guys, and I just want to, reach my hand out to you guys and pray for you guys, and I think everything's going to be just fine so long as, He takes care of those who take care of themselves. So just keep your heads up, keep your heads on a swivel, and be vigilant, guys. We'll see you on the next one.